Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2025 ski test. Today we're talking about the Elan Ripstick 108. This is now the widest ski in the Ripstick collection. Elan has refreshed the entire line for 2025. Rest in peace to the Ripstick 116, but I think this 108 is a much more appropriate choice for more skiers. You know, that Ripstick 116 was sweet if you had a bottomless powder day, but the amount of those is it's few and far between for a lot of skiers. You know, if you're lucky to live somewhere where a 116 is normal to you, that's awesome, but the vast majority of the skiing population doesn't have too many 116 days in a given season. So I think it's just fine that this Ripstick 108 is now the widest ski. And it does feel much more like a powder ski than the Ripstick 106 did, that outgoing width from previous generations. And we can talk a little bit about why that is, but it has way more float than you would think from just adding 2 millimeters of width. So new construction in these skis. It's still a tube-light wood core. They still get 2 carbon rods in here, but they've changed kind of the rest of the carbon application. So now we have unidirectional carbon stringers along the base of the ski, and that just makes it a smoother skiing experience. It doesn't change performance that much. It just means you're feeling less vibrations through to your feet. And then vapor tip is gone in the shovel of the ski, and they added flax instead. That actually kind of continues that same story. It just adds more vibration damping to the ski and increases its smoothness. That said, they're still very, very lightweight. So this is a pretty big ski. It's 108 underfoot, 182 centimeters in length. And we're only 1,850 grams, so there are a lot of skis this size that are hundreds of grams heavier than that. So always a testament to Elan's manufacturing and their ability to keep these skis kind of as light as possible without sacrificing performance. One of the reasons why the 108 is, in my opinion, a better powder ski than the 106 is it does have a slightly softer flex pattern throughout. So maybe a touch less stable at speed than that previous Ripstick 106, but better kind of everywhere else. It has more float, it has better quickness, it has just a more fun and more playful skiing experience in kind of any off-piste scenario, which is really the intention of this ski. Up here in the shovel, like that helps so much in deep snow. It just lets the tip kind of interact even with softer snow and stay on top, which is sweet. You know, you don't want your tips diving in deep snow. That's really never any fun. And then as you move up in width in the Ripstick line, you get more and more rocker, and I would say in this 108, it's particularly noticeable in the amount of tip rocker it has. So that's a good amount of tip rocker. You know, it starts right about here where my hand is. And then less tail rocker, but certainly enough. And you know, you're not going to feel locked into a turn even in deeper snow. You can release that edge pretty easily. Big spoony shovel to this ski. You know, all the Ripsticks use a similar amount of early taper, but when you get this big, I think like just the amount of surface area right here is at least pretty striking for me. And I think that's a huge reason why they're so good in soft snow. Right and left skis, like all the Ripstick skis, so you get more rocker along the outside edge, more camber along the inside edge. That helps not only when you're transitioning turns on a groomer, it helps a ton in powder. So it actually makes the skis kind of track more consistently with each other in deep snow because there's less to push against. So pretty cool. We had a ton of people on it in our ski test. This was a unique year for our ski test because it just snowed a ton. So we actually had really, really good conditions for testing a 108 underfoot powder ski. We saw a lot of really high scores for float, and just overwhelming response from anybody that got on it was how good it is as a powder ski. Generally, where people started to find limitations is on firmer snow. You know, if they were back on a groomer, kind of trying to make some turns to get back to the lift or get back to our testing area, that's where, you know, there are better performing skis. Of course, a Ripstick 96 Black Edition would outperform a Ripstick 108 on a groomer, but in trees, in deep snow, just as a true powder ski, it is so much fun. I had a very memorable run on the Ripstick 108 that hopefully you can watch right now as I'm talking about it. It was floaty, it was easy to ski, it's easy to maneuver. I'm only like 160-ish pounds, so for me, like even though it's a softer flex pattern, I could just point this thing down the mountain and just go, and I didn't ever really feel like I was finding a limit to its stability. I think a bigger skier, like if you're looking for kind of a big mountain charger ski, you probably would want something heavier and stiffer, and that's just fine. I think Elan's intention with this Ripstick 108 is to make a fun resort powder ski, and I think they've nailed it. You know, I don't recall reading any negative feedback about its powder performance, and at 108 underfoot, like what else is there really to care about? I joke a little bit because there's other stuff that you'll do on a 108 underfoot ski. We're not just always skiing bottomless powder, but for its kind of goal, for its one intention or its main intention, I think they've kind of nailed it. It's really good in the soft snow and just super fun to ski overall. It's very intuitive. Being this light, it's not like overly fatiguing, which is really nice. Powder days can be very, very tiring, and a ski like this just lets you ski all day long without feeling overly fatigued. So that's it. That is the new Ripstick 108 from Elan. Let us know if you have any questions about it, and we will see you out there on the slopes.